Hello everyone and welcome to another Burn Up with Snippet. I'm going to talk to you today about something that's very important, especially during the COVID-19 and the lockdown situation that's happening in many countries. I'm sure most of you are not using the cars as often as they used to, and this would affect your car. So in this video, I'm going to go through few important considerations and precautions that you need to take care of while you are keeping your car during the lockdown, to make sure that it's running fine whenever you need it and that you will not end up with a hefty maintenance bill at the end of the lockdown. So, hope you like this video.
Okay, so first things first, the most important and most valuable part you want to maintain in your car is your car engine. So the engine with all the mechanical parts, all the fluids that are helping the engine function properly, like the engine oil, the coolant, the brake fluid, need to be running regularly to protect your engine and make sure it's functioning properly. The downside of not using your car for a long period of time is that, first of all, the mechanical parts will not be lubricated regularly, and that would cause corrosion or damage, which is very expensive to repair. Another thing is all the ducts and hoses like these that are transferring the fluids inside your engine would get really dry, especially in hot countries like the UAE and any other hot weather countries, especially we're approaching now summer. So this would cause them to crack and maybe cause some leakage in the future, which would be very expensive as well to repair, especially if the damage is beyond control and you need to change the whole hose or the whole system. This might cause also the car to fail on the road because it's not getting enough oil or enough coolant. So to avoid all of these risks, simply you need to run your car once a week for 6 to 7 kilometers.
So this will keep all the parts lubricated, will keep everything in check, and you will make sure that your car is working fine whenever you need it.
Another reason why you'd want to run your car regularly is to protect your car battery. So as you know, your car battery gets charged while the car is running. So if you're leaving the car unused for a long time, this would cause the car battery to get drained, lose charge, and the lifetime of your car battery would be much less than it's supposed to. So again, another benefit of running the car once every week is to make sure that the battery gets charged regularly and maintain its charge. The car wouldn't fail you at any point.
If still the restrictions that you have in your country does not allow you to drive your car once a week, then you can idle your car wherever it's parked for 5 to 10 minutes. This might not be as effective as actually driving the car on the road, but it's definitely better than nothing.
The second thing that you want to maintain is your car tires. So car tires are a very vital and usually an expensive consumable that can degrade over time if the car is not being used regularly. And this is due to the risk of having or developing flat spots on your tire. And flat spots are parts that get flattened rather than round due to the weight of the car sitting on the tire for a prolonged period of time. So getting flat spots on your tire is very dangerous because not only it can cause vibration while you're driving the car, but can lead to tire failure and failing to brake properly or maneuver the car on the road. So to avoid flat spots, driving your car once a week not only will protect and maintain your engine, your battery, but also your tires, because you will make sure that the part that's sitting on the ground with the weight of the car is changing regularly, and it will not be the same part over time. Also, adjusting the tire pressure to the pressure that's recommended by your car manufacturer is very important to make sure your car tires stay inflated properly and it will not get flat spots at the bottom. If you cannot drive your car once a week, make sure just to move your car just a little bit so that the part that's resting on the ground changes and it will not be the same over a long period of time.
Another thing you want to take care of is your car interior. So we're talking about the dashboard, the steering wheel, your leather seats, and any panels like the door panels. These are prone to get damaged or lose their lustrous look, and the car would look a little bit faded from inside. It will not look as nice over time. So to protect the car from prolonged sun exposure and protect the interior, if you have a sunroof like I have, please make sure you close it when you park your car. And also use very simple yet very effective, your shader. Make sure you have one of these and put it on the front glass whenever you're parking your car, especially for a prolonged period of time. Most of the cars here in Dubai are tinted, so you have the side glass with the tinting on it, so it's protecting your car from the sun. But the front glass is illegal to be tinted, and usually it doesn't have any protection. So a shader will come in handy. If you have a rear shader like I have here, it would be a good idea also to open it and make sure you protect the rear of the car and the rear seats from the sun.
Another tip for your car interior is, before you keep your car unused for a long time, make sure that your car is clean from the inside. Any trash, any leftovers, food, water bottles, anything that can cause any fungus or bacterial growth inside your car should be removed, and the car should be clean before you park it for a long period of time. This will cause your car to be in a good shape without any problems or allergens building up in your car over time. If you're living in an area with a lot of trees and a lot of grass, there is a high chance that there will be a lot of birds as well. So what you want to take care of is bird droppings, the biggest enemy to your car paint and polishing. So you have to inspect your car at least once a week, or at least once every 2 weeks if that's not feasible, to make sure there's no bird droppings around your car. So check the body, check the roof, and make sure if you see any bird droppings to clean it right away. And I'm going to talk about how to do that in a minute, because if it sits for a long time with the sun exposure, it will totally damage your car paint and polishing, and it will leave a permanent damage. Okay, so now I'm going to show you how to clean bird droppings from your car. So the first thing you want to do is pour some water on it, and then don't rub it right away. Just wait a little bit until it gets soft. If the weather is very hot and the water is drying out, make sure you pour more water and leave it to stand for 30 to 60 seconds. So as you can see, just by pouring water, it just moved away. So that was easy. You will find some residues remaining here, and then you can just rub it with a microfiber cloth, and voila, it's done. That one was easy. It seems like it was fresh. So now we have another one, looks also fresh. So I think by pouring some water it might go away. Anyway, if it's not fresh, I will tell you also what to do. So you just keep pouring water and let it stand for 30 to 60 seconds. And then rub it with a microfiber cloth, not with any other hard cloth, because this one is designed not to scratch your car. If you feel like it's taking just a little bit and there is a part that needs more scratching, the worst thing you can do is just keep scratching. Don't scratch, just pour more water, and you see, it just went away. Another very important thing to consider when you're gonna leave your car unused for a while is where you're gonna park your car. Your best bet is to park over hard ground like these. So whether it's asphalt, tarmac, or tiles like these are okay to park on. Avoid parking over sand areas or sand pits, because the sand might move with the wind and get into the brake system and damage the brake pads, cause corrosion to the disc when you use the brake the next time. If the sand is fine enough, it might even get into the mechanical parts of the car and cause serious damage. Also, you want to avoid parking over grass for a long time, because the humidity and the mist would build up at the bottom of your car, and if you leave it long enough, this might cause rust to start. Another advice I would give you when it comes to where you park your car, choosing to park under a tree like these cars here would be not a very wise decision, because there's a high chance that you would get bird droppings or tree sap falling on the body of your car. Sitting for a long time with the sun on it, it will definitely damage your car and leave a very ugly spot where it's not polished anymore, and probably the damage would go into the paint as well, not only on the wax layer. So Not parking under a tree would be a very wise move if you're going to leave your car for a long period of time. Inspecting your car every time you use it, preferably every 5 to 7 days, would be a good idea to clean any bird droppings that you see right away before it leaves permanent damage. Okay, so the next point I'm going to talk about is car service. So you know that usually the car service is recommended within a specific distance that the car should travel. Like for example, changing your engine oil every 10,000 or every 15,000, depending on what oil your agency or your mechanic is using, or within 6 months from the last change. So what most people do is they neglect the time limitation and they just go for the distance, which works fine if you're using your car regularly. Usually the distance comes first. But what about when we are during the lockdown, we're not using our cars regularly? Probably you will end the whole 2020 and you will not run the distance from your last oil change. So does that mean that you have to wait until you do the 10,000 or 12,000 or 15,000? No, you have to change it within 6 months of the last change to make sure that your engine have the right oil, gets lubricated properly, and avoid any damage to the engine. So that's an important point that I wanted to highlight. So pay attention to any due service, whether it's a minor or a major service, and consult your agency, consult your workshop, or your trusted mechanic, so they can tell you if any parts need to be changed regardless of how long you use them. Parts like engine air filter or AC filter, spark plugs, brake fluid, or any other consumable part or component of your car, to make sure your car is running smoothly without problems.
So another point that some people don't really think about is how much fuel you should keep on your fuel tank while keeping the car parked for a long period of time. And the verdict is you should keep your fuel tank as full as possible. And this is to avoid condensation coming from the decomposition of the fuel over time. So the condensation that would happen would cause some water droplets to accumulate and fall below the fuel because it's lighter. And then next time you run on your car, this water will get into the engine. If the amount of water is big enough, it might cause serious damage and corrosion to the interior of the cylinders and the engine. So to stay away from that, a full fuel tank would cause no room for condensation to happen, and this will protect your car on the long term.
At the end, thank you all for watching. Hope you liked the video and you found it useful. Please make sure you like and share the video for people to make use of it and maintain the cars during the lockdown. And if you have any other tips that I didn't mention, please put them in the comments. If you have any situation that happened to you because of not using the car for a prolonged period, please share your experience. I would like to hear about that and maybe make another video with the compiled comments from all of you. Thanks again and stay safe.